When I first went in the Army, did I ever tell you this story? Probably did, because I'm a yapper. Clap on, clap off, the yapper. That's me. Anyway, it's funny. Mohawk Valley, that's where I'm at right now. It's windy, it's overcast, and apparently it's raining pretty hard in San Diego. So, good times. We're driving into this. Yeah, this doesn't do anything about me here. This doesn't do anything for me out here, man. My great-grandparents homesteaded in Ajo or Bisbee. It's Bisbee, Arizona, back in the 1920s. They were German refugees. Actually, I can't remember the whole story. But I just remember it's windy pretty good. They had my grandma had to shoot a rattlesnake, I think going after one of her chickens or something like that. And my great-grandma Deichmann, because they were German. And back then, Germans weren't looked on too kindly during World War Uno, if that makes sense. Anyway, so we're a victim. We're a victim. I want my affirmative action. Germans crush. That's all I got to say about that. All right, so anyway. So your old buddy Josh. All right, so I graduated high school in June of 88. After I graduated, I just barely graduated. Like a 2.01 or 1.96 GPA, something like that. I was like the bottom 25% of my class. Is that what it is? So 75% of the people were above me. Yeah, I think so. I think it was like 450 out of 600 kids graduated. Anyway, so long story short, so I'm going to the Army. I already known I was going to the Army. I did the MEPS, the delayed entry program. So I knew I was going to the Army my whole senior year, which is pretty cool. All the other people are freaking out about college. I didn't have to worry about it. We didn't take the SATs or nothing. I was supposed to go to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, a 2-year tour as an enlistment, as a communications specialist, whatever the hell that is. Oh yeah, it's getting, wow. In the sandstorms. But long story short, how many times are you going to say that, man? I don't know. Probably say it 20 times. But anyway, so I graduated high school. I go up to Maine to see my mom for a couple weeks. I come back down, hang out with my friends and whatnot, say everybody goodbye, you know what I'm saying? And I was getting ready to go in the Army. And so my recruiter was a big black guy named Sergeant Emmons, Staff Sergeant Emmons, a bodybuilder, big guy. And he took me up to Baltimore, the MEPS, the Military Entry Processing Station, I think is what it's called, MEPS. So he takes me up there, and I'm in Silver Spring, so it takes about an hour and a half to get up to Baltimore, something like that. Drops me off, we go through the whole thing where you gotta, they gotta make sure you don't have AIDS, they gotta make sure you're not freaking selling dope, they gotta do a blood work, and they gotta do a piss test, and for me, I was like, dude, when they do a piss test, like, piss in his cup, the dude's looking at your stuff. It's a guy like over your shoulder looking at your stuff. I was like, I can't do this with you looking at me. You just gotta do it, dude. In fact, you got a time limit here because if you don't get it done like the next hour, we're gonna have to send you back. I said, send me back where? It goes to your recruiter. And you gotta, come back at a different time. I said, well, my thing's starting. I gotta be on this plane. Yeah, you better pee. I said, well, the pressure doesn't help. He goes, well, go back, drink some water, come back. And I said, well, I wish I would have known I had to do this because I would have been, stocked up on water to begin with. Anyway, so I come back second time, couldn't do it. Now I'm freaking getting nervous. Like, what if I can't make this happen? And I think it's like the time's ticking down, dude. You got to get on a plane, like, at some point. Finally was able to get it done. This guy, freaking checked me out. I said, damn, dude, you should be in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we go through all this stuff. We get our paperwork done. They give you charts. They give you, orders on how to get on the plane and all that. I mean, literally, I was just turned 18 years old, young and dumb, and full of something else. I'm not gonna say, but anyway. So we're waiting to get on the airplane. They got that, the bridge you got to go on. When you get in the airport, you got to go on that bridge. So the recruiting guy, whoever it is who's processing us, a guy in the Army, says, all right, last chance. If any of you guys have pending lawsuits, trials, court dates, let us know now. Coming to basic training, you won't be able to escape whatever legal issue you have. And I remember, I had a legal issue. I had a court case date scheduled for some stupid stuff, and I was like, I remember thinking that, sitting there, thinking, should I say something? And I was like, they'll never know, they'll never find out. And then, good Lord, man, not heartbeat. Thank you, Lord. God said, dude, it's always better be honest. Just be honest. Let the chips fall where they may. Always be honest. I'm telling you, man. I said, because I was like, They'll never know. They'll never know. They'll never know. God said, no, they're going to know. Just be honest. Because I think what he said is, if we have to send you home for your court case, you could be subject to a dishonorable discharge. And I said, all right. So I told the guy, he said, why didn't you tell us before? I said, I don't know. I just didn't think about it. So he goes, all right, we'll step back. We'll have to get in touch with a recruiter. He's going to have to come pick you up, blah, 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 blah. I said, all right. And anyway, so a couple hours later, I'm just sitting there waiting for Sergeant Emmons to come get me. And again, remember, this is a big black bodybuilder guy, Staff Sergeant Emmons, you know what I'm saying? And I just scared the hell out of him. I liked him, but he's a scary guy, you know, intimidating. And he said, what the hell? And I said, well, I didn't know. I just thought, I didn't know. I just, I was 18 years old, man. Just turned 18. Doing all this my own. My dad wasn't, he wasn't any help. Nothing like that. It was my choice. And he dropped me. He didn't say hardly a word to me the whole time. We're driving back to where I lived, some crappy old duplex in Silver Spring, Maryland, on Thayer Ave. Anyway, so he drops me off. And I remember going, I said, well, I'm just going to, I was thinking, all right, some more time to party this summer with my friends, you know what I'm saying? Because, the party's on, I love to party. There's a Reverend Horton Heat song, Gringos Like to Party. Those gringos like to party. I said, that's me. So anyway, so I go upstairs, call some of my friends, say, they're like, what are you doing back? I said, yeah, they won't take me until I get this court case resolved. They said, all right, well, let's hang out tonight. So I go upstairs, taking a shower, and my dad comes home. And he's like, Josh? Because I was in the shower. He goes, Josh? I said, yeah, what's up, Dad? He goes, what the hell are you doing here? I said, yeah, I had to get this court case resolved before they take me. And he said, what? Anyway, so I finally get the court case resolved. I contact Sergeant Emmons. And the guy at the court was, the judge. He was basically, I was being charged with stealing a car, if that makes sense. And the car got crashed. I was being charged with, I don't know, it was something different than grand theft. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was grand theft. I don't know what the hell it was. I was just being charged with stealing a car. This is after, oh my goodness. So we used to break into cars and steal credit cards, whatever we could find, steal credit cards and stuff. And just a couple months before that, I got arrested in White Flint Mall for stealing credit cards from the car and using it to go buy a couple hardcore punk rock albums at a record store in White Flint Mall. And if memory serves, the cops came, put me in braces, and I'm walking through White Flint Mall, and my girlfriend's mom walked by or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure not a good look, dude. Not a good look. Definitely not going places, your old buddy Josh, you know what I'm saying? The guy ended up not pressing charges. The guy who we stole the credit card from, and thankfully, but maybe he should have. I don't know. Anyway, so then a couple months later, I'm being charged again with theft of a vehicle. I can't remember what the crime was, but theft and whatever. Now I won't go the whole story there, but let's just put it this way: me and this guy used to work with at the Chesapeake Crab Factory, which is owned by these Greeks on George Ave, where Thayer Ave and George Ave meet. I used to be a cook in there, and there's a guy, we call him Jamaican Brian, and he had some friends. We're partying at my house one night. Again, it's just a crap hill duplex, so it was not much of a house. And we run out of booze and dope, and this guy Jamaican Brian, it's just marijuana. It's a guy, and I didn't like marijuana. But I'd smoke some on occasion back then. This guy, Jamaican Brian, said, oh, blah, 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 blah. But maybe I wasn't smoking then, because I knew I couldn't have marijuana. I don't think I was, because I couldn't have marijuana in my bloodstream, or whatever it was, to go in the Army. I don't think I was. But Jamaican Brian said, I got some guys who can keep the party going, and so let's go link up with them. And anyway, so we got in a car, and the rest is history. And we crashed it. They got charged with stealing a car. All right. Anyway, so I finally got that. So the judge, he's like, dude, this is your second arrest here in 3 months. You're finished near the bottom of your high school class. What the hell? I said, well, I'm getting ready. I was going to go in the Army, but I got to clear this up first. He goes, well, let me tell you, son, I'm going to let you go because you're going to go back in the military. But if I find out you're in front of me again, you hadn't gone in the military, you're going to jail. And I said, all right, Judge. Anyway, so after that finally cleared up, and this is probably in, I don't even know when it was, August, something like that. I think it might have been August of 1988. I contact my recruiter, Sergeant Emmons, again, and I'm desperate at this stage because I'm a freaking loser. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fat loser. I got nothing going on. And Sergeant Emmons says, "Yeah, what's up, Scanlon?" I said, "Hey, Sergeant Emmons, everything's clear now. I got my thing from the judge saying, just I can go back to I can go to the military." Blah blah blah. He goes, "Well, I don't have any jobs for you." I said, "Oh, that's why I said I had a high ASVAB score." I said, "Well, can I still get these jobs? Because my score is so high." So when you first take the ASVAB test and you get a certain score, they're like, "You can do whatever you want." And I said, "Can I still do these jobs?" And he's like, "Well, I can't, because I had a certain score." Because that's what he said. "Oh, man, you can do whatever you want. You could be a nuclear physician." And I was like, not that I wanted to do that, but I had enough brain power to do that. And he said, "I don't have any of those jobs open for you anymore. The only thing I got for you is infantry." And then he said, "Let me see if I came in and find if I can get you an infantry." And I was like, "What?" I said, "What's infantry?" He goes, "Well, I think it's what he did, infantry." He goes, "So that's it. If you want to come back in, you got to go to the infantry." I'm sure he's full of crap, but I was, again, my dad was no help with just me. That's okay. I was an adult. You know what I'm saying? I said, "All right, infantry it is." And so light infantry, 11 Bravo. That's how I became an infantryman. But the story's not over yet, my friends. I know you guys think it is, but it's not. And so by this time, my dad moved some crappy apartment in Alexandria, Virginia. And it smelled like curry. You know what I'm saying? There's some Indian couple or somebody that lived in there. It just smelled like curry. I was like, it was nasty. That's why I can't stand Indian food. Nothing wrong with Indians, but I know a lot of y'all like Indian food, not this guy. Ugh. Anyway, and so when I remember Sergeant Emmons picked me up that morning, this is in November of 1988, to take me to MEPS up again in Baltimore, and he's like, "Dude, is there anything I need to know?" I said, No, I promise you." He's like, "All right, I hope not, because this is your last chance." I said, "No, man, there's nothing here." All right, so we go through the MEPS and all this. I'm good to go. Then get on the airplane. We end up in Atlanta because now I'm going to Fort Benning, not Fort Jackson, and Fort Benning's in Georgia, Columbus, Georgia. And Fort Jackson was in South Carolina. It is in South Carolina. So we get on, we fly into Atlanta. We're going to get picked up by a bus to take us to Columbus, to Fort Benning the next day. So we land, a bunch of us, from Maryland, and all the guys from Maryland going into, Fort Benning for basic training for infantry. All white guys, by the way, all single white. A lot of people think, "Oh, the infantry is all poor blacks." No. Infantry is a lot of lower middle class whites. You know what I'm saying? A few blacks, not many. Lots of Spanish people, but at least my experience, a vast majority are lower class whites. You know what I'm saying? Poor to lower middle class whites, just like your old buddy Josh. All right, so we get to Atlanta and we get a hotel room because the bus can come pick us up dark 3rd the next day. So me and this guy, I can't remember his name, from Bel Air, Maryland. And sounds like it's rich because of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I don't know if it is or not. It probably is. He seemed like a pretty wealthy guy. We end up going partying like in Buckhead, or I can't remember. And and we're getting drunk, man. And again, I'm just 18. And I remember we got on the MARTA, and I just said, long story short, we missed the bus to take us to Fort Benning. Me and this guy from Bel Air. We missed the bus to take us to Fort Benning. And I'm freaking nervous because I already missed, the first time I was going to go to the Army. And Sergeant Emmons said, "If you get another issue, that's it, man. 2 strikes, you're out." And oh my goodness, what a cluster foxtrot I was. So we call, I can't remember, we had to call somebody down at Fort Benning. They sent another bus up to get just me and this guy. Nah, I can't remember. Was it just me and him? Or was it another group of soldiers? I can't remember. But I remember we get on this other bus. I can't remember. And we get finally to Fort Benning. Now, our unit had already been there for like 18 hours. You know what I'm saying? So they're 18 hours ahead of us. They had already gone through the, where they freaking scream at you and all that. Now they're all lined up. And now it's just me and this guy, dude. Yeah, Echo 254. That was my platoon in the basic training. Now it's me and just this guy. And they were hounding us like you would not believe, dude. All these other guys have already got their uniforms on. We come in civilians. They already had their haircuts. We're in our long hair. Hell, I still had a pack of Newports. I had this book called The Casco Deception. about how Nazis took over Peaks Island. It's a great book. It's an easy read. I loved it very much. But it had a swastika on the top, on the front of it. And one of the drill sergeant's like, "Oh, you're a Nazi, huh? You're a Nazi." I said, "No, it's just a book." And he goes, "What? Did I tell you to?" Woo, Nelly. And I was like, "Dude, this," I said, "I made a huge mistake." I said, "This isn't for me. I don't like taking orders. I don't like giving orders. I don't like taking orders." And I'm just like, what a huge mistake. And that was my first day in the Army, man. Ugh. And by the time we finally get up to be issued our stuff, all these other guys are already taking a break. You know, they already got their beds assigned and all that. And it's just me and this guy. He went to Alpha Company. I was in Echo Company. He went to Alpha Company for some reason. He didn't go to 10th Mountain Division. I think he was just National Guard. And I'm just all by myself, you know what I'm saying? And finally, there's a guy from West Virginia. I said, "Dude, this guy's name RJ. It's Rush." I said, "RJ." He said, "Hey, man, welcome aboard. You know, you can." You know, he said, "You can sleep right here on the top bunk. I get bottom bunk, because that's fine." I said, "Dude, it felt like me." Everyone's like staring at me like I'm a freaking clown, which I was. I still am. And RJ helped me. He said, "Let me help you out with this stuff. You know, we've already been through this, so I can tell you what to do." And that helped me a lot. But man, woo! That was my first day in the Army, man. And dude, I tell you, man, no matter how low you are, look, I tell you, how low you are, I was a clown, my friends. A clown. I was smart, though. I had smarts. Because I like to read. I've always liked to read. But I was a clown. And if I can survive all that crap and come back and crush with my beautiful, with my 4 kids, dude, you can do the same thing. No matter where you are, man, you can always come back. That's the lesson. Dude, I had been arrested twice in 6 months previous. I was just in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bad place. I think by then my girlfriend had dumped me. My dad was like, "What the hell?" You know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to be gone. I mean, I just had nothing going on, dude. Nothing. I was at like the lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying? The Army almost didn't want me. They made it seem like they didn't want me. And yet here I am, you know, all these years later. Don't let today ruin your life, man. I'm telling you, a big deal. If I can come back, you can come back. That's just a fact. All right, love your thoughts. See ya.